Hey guys, what's up everybody? Welcome back to more of my commander decks. Here I'm going to talk about all the commander decks I own and just wanted to show them off to you guys and explain what my commander decks are. I've been playing for a while, so it's super fun to go over with. And this is my first commander deck ever. Been playing for a while, and Ghave was the start of commander. It's when Wizards was saying, okay, we're going to start printing precons, and this was the first precon that they made. If we can focus, probably take it out of the case. Ghave was always there. I was attracted to fungus and just making a big board back in the day. And let's see, where's a good focus? Kind of there. So everyone kind of says Ghave is kind of like, he combos with a ham sandwich. He'll combo with anything, and that's kind of true. So he's a 5 mana, black, green, white, fungus shaman, 0/0, enters the battlefield with 5+1/+1 counters. Then you can pay 1, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to make a 1/1 green sapling creature token onto the battlefield. And then you can pay 1, sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So mainly, like back in the day, I would like play him and then spend all that 5 mana to make saplings. He would die, and then play him again and make more saplings that just kind of accumulate better and better. This proxy my brother made. But nowadays it's just like, yeah, I've been playing for a while. We're going to combo off pretty heavily with him, and he's just super fun. This is my cEDH deck I would bring to like the table. And also, this is an old card back in the day. They didn't really have a set 3 colors, like an order to go through. Now they do. If they ever print Asban, it'll be white, green, black. But I like to call this version the Dark Ghave, because it starts with the swamp. We'll set Ghave aside right over here and then start off with our creatures. And what better creature to start off with would be our best boy, Young Wolf. This is a 1 mana, 1/1 undying creature, which is whenever this creature dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter. Undying is really what we want to be doing, because he's going to be Ghave's best friend. This is how like the fair combo is going to be, is with Young Wolf. You pay 1, sacrifice Young Wolf to put a +1/+1 counter on Ghave, per se. Young Wolf dies, comes back out with a +1/+1 counter on it. Then you can pay 1 to remove that counter from Young Wolf, make a sapling. And you can pay another 1, sacrifice the Young Wolf to put a +1/+1 counter on Ghave, and he'll come back out to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. Then you can pay 1 to remove that, make a sapling, and then as long as however much mana you'll have infinite counters on whatever you want and infinite sapling tokens. And that's going to be our main combo, is making infinite creatures, or just having a sack outlet of something ETBing over and over and over again. And Young Wolf is going to be our dude, our bestest boy. Usually that's what I'm tutoring with, like Green Sun Zenith is going to be Young Wolf. And then, yes, what better way to end the game if I'm going out in this loop is Corpse Knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, each opponent loses 1 life. So that's Young Wolf coming in, or my saplings coming in. And this one is actually a 2/2, just a misprint that I've gotten that I think is hilarious. And then we'll move on to Fyndhorn Elves for more of a creature deck to help like get Ghave going by sacrificing a creature. Being to having a sack outlet on the command zone is just helpful to have like creatures and to have +1/+1 counters be put onto something, because I would have infinite +1/+1 counters. If I go through the loop, he could be buffed 100 and then swing out on an opponent, which could be good. More elves, Elf Ramp, Avacyn's Pilgrim. This is important, one of the better ones, because if you have green, you can tap for a white if you didn't have the white, because you for sure have the green, at least, always nice. Arbor Elf, untap target forest, could be good, because I do have enchantment aura forests that are going to be pretty important later on. Same with Elves of Deep Shadow, it taps for a black. Deathrite Shaman, just probably a staple within the competitive commander. Just being able to snipe anything out in their opponent's graveyard is amazing. Devoted Druid. Normally you don't really run like a 2 mana Devoted Druid. Can maybe get you 2 more mana if you put a -1/-1 counter on it. But it has a little fun combo with Ghave that you can put +1/+1 counters on Devoted Druid, so then you can remove that -1/-1 counter because they negate each other. They equalize, which is important. But there's also another very important combo that I run with Devoted Druid, so I'm going to put Devoted Druid over on the side for now. We'll hopefully get, oh, here it is. Well, Allosaurus Shepherd. Let's see. 1 mana, can't be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered. Pretty important, but that pay 6 mana for green till end turn. Each elf creature you control has base power and toughness 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other types. That will make Devoted Druid a 5/5. So then you can tap Devoted Druid, put a -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid, untap it, tap Devoted Druid, do that a bunch of times, and because she's a 5/5, she'll have 5 health. And then, let's see if we can find... Tayam is going to be our other creature. If you haven't seen this, it's kind of a lot. 1 Asben, 3/3, Nightmare Beast. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional Vigilance counter on it. And then you can pay 3. Remove 3 counters from among creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So when you're doing Allosaurus Shepherd, Devoted Druid, tap for a green, put a -1/-1 counter on it, tap for a green, -1/-1 counter, tap for a green, -1/-1 counter on it. You can then use that 3 mana to pay for Tayam and then remove the 3 -1/-1 counters for the other part of activating Tayam. Mill stuff, get something back out into your graveyard, from your graveyard onto the battlefield, and then do that over and over. So you go through your entire deck and you'll find the combo from there, or maybe like the Corpse Knight, Young Wolf, and other pieces that you'll need. And most people say like, yeah, why don't you just run Tayam? Tayam is kind of like the new Asban commander that everyone runs. It's just Ghave is my homeboy. He's always been here, and I'll just run Tayam in the 99. And I like Ghave. He has more combos than just that, so it's not as linear as Tayam would be. So I don't know. It's just it's Ghave. I gotta keep Ghave. Let's see, stacks pieces, opposition agent, always nice. Let's see, you control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. And while an opponent is searching their library, you may exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though any mana of any color to cast them. That's always gotten me sometimes. Like you can pay for blue spells and red spells in this deck. But what's also important is you control your opponents while you're searching your libraries. Most people don't know is like when you control your opponent, you can look at their hand, and so always be checking out that, seeing if get all the information you can get from them. Another stacks piece, Grand Abolisher. Just make sure you can go off on your own. More stacks, Drannith Magistrate. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than your hands. So this, get it out early. Your opponents can't do their commanders, which is most important. Dothi Voidwalker, more stacks piece. Just a very good card. If a card were to be put anywhere into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead of with a void counter on it. That's the most important part, but you can also sacrifice him, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it, and you may play that without paying its mana cost, so you could hit something pretty good off of it. Mostly it's just going to be that stacks piece that just sits there. Ranger Captain of Eos, very good card, because when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less, reveal it, and put it in your hand. We're finding Young Wolf. Most likely going to be finding Young Wolf, but you can grab like Allosaurus Shepherd, Deathrite Shaman right now, and then you could sacrifice him. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn, so when I'm going off, I get my Young Wolf, I sacrifice him, try to combo off, and win the game from there. Very strong card. Dark Confidant, just card draw and creature-centric deck. Same with Esper Sentinel, card draw and a creature central deck, even though, yeah, I would run Esper Sentinel in almost anything that's not creature central. Cryptolith Trilobite, here's a new one, kind of newish, but not well known. XX enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and then you can remove a +1/+1 counter from it to add 2 colorless, but only spend this mana to activate abilities. Put a +1/+1 counter. You could pay 1, put a +1/+1 counter on that, but if we go back to this combo, right, I was saying you need infinite mana. Well, Trilobite's also infinite mana, because when we did that sacrifice, that initial sacrifice to Young Wolf, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It doesn't need to be Ghave. We'll put it on the Cryptolith Trilobite, right? Then he comes back out with a +1/+1 counter on. We remove that +1/+1, have 2 mana, use one of it to remove this +1/+1 counter on it to make a Saproling, and then use the other one, sacrifice Young Wolf, put a +1/+1 counter back on the triple Trilobite. So then we will have infinite creatures. We won't have the counters because we have to put the counters on Trilobite, but say we have the Corpse Knight out and we can win the game from there, or just have infinite creatures is just plenty fine, good enough. Strangleroot Geist is just another undying creature, but this time he costs 2 green. The haste doesn't really matter too much, like at all, but you could, if you do like the loop, I have infinite mana, you could, like I said, you'll have infinite +1/+1 counters on it usually if you're not doing like the Trilobite version of the combo. So if you eventually have that infinite mana and infinite creatures, then you can start sacrificing some of the creatures to Ghave. Move inside. Sacrifice some of the creatures to Ghave. Put the +1/+1 counters on Strangleroot Geist until he's a 40/40 or whatever, and then he can swing in, which is haste. That's why it's also nice to have the elves, or like something that doesn't have summoning sickness when I'm comboing off with Ghave, is put the +1/+1 counters on the elves, and then they can swing in for the game if you wanted to win out that way. Geralf's Messenger, just kind of an all-in-one package. He is triple black, hard to cast, but he's both an undying creature and he's a Corpse Knight, where has undying, enters battlefield, tap, doesn't matter, but when he enters battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life, and so when you're doing that loop with the Messenger, he's going to just be that Corpse Knight and close out the game. Then Land of War Elves, more Birds of Paradise, old school one. Let's kind of pull this one out. A little beat up in the corners, but it doesn't have the date dot on the bottom. And then Leonin Relic Warder. Okay, this is going to require me to go through another combo that we have with the deck. Enters battlefield, you may exile target artifact or enchantment. Pretty good hate piece. Double white's kind of a lot, but then when he leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to owner's battlefield under its owner's control. These are separate clauses, and by separate clauses, we'll get to it once we get to enchantments. That's all of the creatures. I'm going to put that to a side, and maybe this side. Let's go to enchantments first, and just see what I'm trying to talk about. We got Wild Growth, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land taps for mana, add an extra green. This is going to be good with like Arbor Elf. There we go, enchant the forest. And then Squirrel's Nest. Enchanted land has tap, put a green squirrel into play. That's going to be very important because of this card. This card is going to be our main like win condition where we can get our mana. This is like the old school Earthcraft. Tap an untapped creature you control. Untap target basic land. Normally, well, you can do just this 2-card combo where this enchants a basic land. You tap the basic land. Let's just grab the basic land. Boom. Put Squirrel's Nest on there. Tap it. Get a squirrel. Tap the squirrel to untap this basic land with Earthcraft. Tap the basic land. Get a squirrel. Untap it, or tap the squirrel to use Earthcraft. Untap. Make infinite creatures with the Corpse Knight just getting there for the win, or you just have infinite creatures, pass the turn, and attack in. But also with Earthcraft, to make mana, is when we're doing the Ghave combo in Young Wolf, tap the Young Wolf, or we'll use one, float one, tap the Young Wolf, have another 2, use one of it to sack Young Wolf, and then another one to remove the counter, use the Saprolings to tap on tap. but you can also put Wild Growth onto these basic land to tap and untap, to also get more mana, to get infinite mana for Ghave and stuff. Well, that's another combo going on. Super good. Earthcraft is like our main win condition. Yes, yes. And then you can just win off with these if you're like, Ghave is getting destroyed a bunch. Here we go. Necromancy. Let's see if I can find the others. Animate Dead and Dance of the Dead are going to be normal reanimation stuff, but can combo off with Leonin Relic Warder. First you gotta get Leonin Relic Warder in the graveyard, which Ghave is a sack outlet in the command zone, so I can sacrifice Leonin Relic Warder. That's fine, we'll do that. Put a +1/+1 counter on something. Then we'll do Animate Dead. Animate Dead will come and grab Leonin Relic Warder, enchanting Leonin Relic Warder. This ETB goes on the stack. We'll choose actually Animate Dead to exile. So then Animate Dead will get exiled, go under Leonin Relic Warder, and then its second ability, or Animate Dead's ability, saying if this ever gets destroyed or leaves the battlefield, then I have to sacrifice the creature. Then I gotta sacrifice Leonin Relic Warder. So he gets to the graveyard. His second clause comes back. When it leaves the battlefield, return exiled card to the battlefield. It'll be Animate Dead. Animate Dead will come in, ETB, choose Leonin Relic Warder, give him, he chooses this to leave, and then I'll have infinite ETBs of just going. I could have maybe Earthcraft out, tap the Leonin Relic Warder to make infinite mana of some sorts, or mostly just have the Corpse Knight out, and I'll have infinite ETBs of just they lose a life every single time. So that's our another combo that we just kind of snuck in there with Leonin Relic Warder. So we have 3 of them that work out that way. Then what else do we got? We got Sylvan Library. This is the Italian version. Biblioteca. It's a beautiful card. Gotta have Sylvan Library if you're in a non-blue deck. Or even if you're in blue deck, it's just good. Necropotence. Since we're a combo deck, we're just trying to get all the cards we can get and combo off with like Squirrel's Nest, Earthcraft, something like that. Utopia Sprawl, another Wild Growth type thing. Enchant Forest, choose a color, you get that much. And we're trying to find basics because Earthcraft only cares about basics. You gotta watch out for that. Untap target basic land. I run like all the fetch lands I can, but when I'm using the fetch land, I tend to grab a basic more than just getting the dual land as what you normally should, or like a tri-land. I'm grabbing a basic because as long as I know I can grab a basic if I don't need the colors. Earthcraft is the main reason why. Fertile Ground, just another enchant land. Whenever it's tapped for mana, add another extra. Survival of the Fittest can help us find that specific card like Young Wolf, Leonin Relic Warder, or Corpse Knight. Again, just very good card. And then Carpet of Flowers, since we're a combo deck trying to go as fast as possible. During your main phase, you add mana equal to islands an opponent controls. Just going fast. Then let's move on to sorceries. We've got Thoughtseize. Since we're a combo deck, I'm trying to basically bait out Counterspell or Force of Will with Thoughtseize. Praetor's Grasp, very good hate card where you search your opponent's library for a card, exile it face down, then that player shuffles their library. You may look at that and play that card for as long as it remains exiled. It can snipe out a Demonic Tutor if you wanted to really win from that turn. It can just take out a Thassa's Oracle if you wanted to get rid of that. Just a very good card all around. I love Praetor's Grasp. Imperial Seal, just a tutor to find what we need since we're a combo deck. Demonic Tutor to find what we need since we're a combo deck. Yawgmoth's Will, I run this card just kind of as like, not like a storm payoff or anything. This is just my combo pieces have died or someone's removed the Earthcraft, so I'm just going to return it back like my Earthcraft comes back, like a Eternal Witness in a way. Still very useful. Can grab like tutors and stuff too, which is just better. Finale of Devastation. Search your library and/or graveyard for a creature card with current mana cost 1 or less. Put it on the battlefield. If you search the library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more, creatures you control get +X/+X and gain haste until end of turn. Normally, we don't get to that much, but we can with like the Ghave loops, the Young Wolf. As long as we make infinite mana, we can like just boost everybody. But when we're at there, we kind of already have the +1/+1 counters. Mostly, this is going to be 3 mana, find Young Wolf, or Corpse Knight, or whatever I need for the combo of that turn. Culling Ritual. I don't know if it's underrated anymore, but just a great card. 4 mana, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less, and then add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. I have like the Animate Deads, I have Yawgmoth's Will, so I can just Culling Ritual back out my rocks, or Yawgmoth's Will back up my rocks or whatever, and most of my guys have Undying, or I have the Animate Deads if I needed that certain stacks piece back out, or whatever. So this is super good in the deck. Green Sun Zenith, pay 2 mana, find Young Wolf. That's basically it. Because you can Young Wolf without like going infinite. Just keep spending your mana, make as many creatures, and have blockers until when I really need to do something, or until I get the time to combo off. So I like grabbing Young Wolf right away, and he's super resilient. Now we will go to instance. We got Rushed Rebirth. Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, search the library for a creature card with lesser mana value and put it on the battlefield tapped and shuffle. We got tons of Undying creatures. We got tons of creatures that I can combo with, and I just really like to have this. It's an easy tutor to run. Instant speed. Alright, we are the Ad Nauseam deck, since we're the combo deck. 5 mana is a lot, but reveal the top card of your library, put that card in your hand. If you lose life equal to CMC, and then you may repeat this process any number of times. This is the main thing you're probably going to tutor for if you have the Demonic Tutor or whatever, and just go off of Ad Nauseam on end step, because it's instant speed. Try to like ritual this out or fast mana it out. Get everything you need, just kind of like the Necropotence, and combo off from there and win from there. Definitely Ad Nauseam deck. Court of Calling, we're going to have tons of creatures, so this can be very cheap. Find your Young Wolf. Nature's Claim, just cheap artifact enchantment removal. Veil of Summer, draw a card if opponent casts a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and opponents you control gain hexproof from blue and black, so just protecting my combo is basically it. Crop Rotation, sacrifice a land, search the library for land. We run Gaia's Cradle, of course, in this deck, so this finds Gaia's Cradle. Silence, just protect us from we're comboing off for the turn. Cast Silence, your opponents can't cast spells this turn. Dark Ritual, so we Dark Ritual out our Ad Nauseam, or Dark Ritual out turn 1 our Necropotence. Calling of the Week, very good ritual if you have creatures like Young Wolf, to sacrifice it, add 4, so for like an early Ad Nauseam. Assassin's Trophy, good removal, permanent, destroys whatever you want, whatever stacks piece you got. Same with Abrupt Decay, this one can't be countered. Vampiric Tutor, or the combo deck. Noxious Revival, put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. So this can be your own, like, at worst, a fetch land, or you can put any removal piece or another, whatever they destroyed from you. It's also very good against reanimator stuff, where if they try to reanimate something, you just put that on top of their library and they don't reanimate and fizzle out their animate dead. Very good card. Diabolic Intent, another tutor, and if you can run it, it's another tutor, because we have creatures like Young Wolf or just little tokens. So if you have creatures that are able to sacrifice, then Diabolic Intent is very good. Enlightened Tutor will find us our Earthcraft, our Utopia Sprawls, our Squirrel's Nest, our fast mana, whatever we really need. Very good in the deck. And then we have Entomb. It's a 1 black mana, search your library for a card and put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. So this can get Leo and Relic Warder. Remember that, and then use our Animate Dead combos. It can grab. It's normally for that, but it can grab certain things where like if I have Tie-Am out, it can get a certain combo piece going. It's a tutor that I'm able to use, and a tutor is a tutor, and if it's able to be used, I should use it. Those are the instants. Now we'll go on to artifacts. And we have Phyrexian Altar. So the altars are also some ways I can get infinite combo with Young Wolf, is that I sacrifice the Young Wolf, get a colorless, he comes back out with a +1/+1 counter on it, use that to remove the +1/+1 counter, get our Saproling, then sacrifice Young Wolf, put a +1/+1 counter, get that one, and then once we have that infinite creatures, do that loop, and then you can start sacrificing some of those infinite Saprolings to put +1/+1 counters back onto creatures I control. So it does work out that way. You just have to do the first loop first. But very good. Mox Diamond, just speed out fast rocks. Ashnod's Altar, this time it's 2 colorless, which is just fine because all we need is colorless for Ghave. Very good. Skull Clamp, so once we do that combo, if we needed to find Corpse Knight or something, or just, clamping a Young Wolf, very, very good card. It's in Chinese, but pay 1, equipped creature gets +1 attack, -1 toughness, and then whenever an equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards. So clamp the Young Wolf, clamp the Saprolings, draw. Jeweled Lotus, get Ghave out there as fast as possible. Soul Ring, Lotus Petal, Mana Vault, nice foily one. Let's see, Wishclaw Talisman, just another tutor. Enters battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. Pay 1, remove a wish counter on it. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle, then give this to opponent. Activate only during your own turn, so your opponent can't do it right away. But usually when you're tutoring, you want to tutor and then win the game from there before your opponent can tutor. Nice Mana Crypt there. And a Chrome Mox. So fast mana, just get everything out as fast as possible. Altars to go in combo. Skull Clamp, of course, and tutor. And we got 1 Planeswalker. We got Mr. Grist Hunger Tide. Let's see if we can get nice. 3 mana, 3 loyalty. As long as Grist isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature to dish to its other types, which is very important because now we can Animate Dead them, Necromancy him, get him back out there, which is fun. +1, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill a card. If an insect was milled this way, it won't happen. Put a loyalty. Milling's also nice just because of the Animate Dead and stuff. But most importantly, it's the -2, may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. So if we have the Young Wolf right away, right, we sacrifice the Young Wolf to destroy something. He comes back out with +1/+1. Just spend 1 to remove that to make a Saproling. I usually like to hold up my 1 mana just because my opponents will be like, oh, the Young Wolf's got a +1/+1 counter on it. I'm going to try to remove it, and then on instant speed, remove, make a little Saproling, and then he comes back out with Undying. It's just fun stuff to do. Your opponent should know better, and I usually tell them before that. But then the ultimate -5, each opponent loses life equal to number of creature cards in your graveyard. Not really mattered. It's more if I can Animate Dead him, and since I have so much fodder, being able to remove something is fantastic. And we will go on to the lands. Let's see, Godless Shrine, Overgrown Tomb are our 2 shock lands that we run. We don't run Temple Garden. We have enough duels, I believe, from just there. And then we have Prismatic Vista. Very important to find the basics, remember, with Earthcraft. City of Brass, just a staple. Undergrowth Stadium, if you're playing Commander, you kind of want the Battle Bond lands. Misty Rainforest, Polluted Delta, Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills, Marsh Flats, Verdant Catacombs, Flooded Strand, Windswept Heath, Arid Mesa, our fetch lands. And remember, try to find your basic land so you can combo off with Earthcraft. Then we got Bayou, Savannah, and Scrubland, of course. And I don't interchange my cards, but I do own every single one. But this is an extra real one that I own. I put in Ghave, very good condition. If we can focus. Nice. Focus. Beautiful. So I have a real Savannah in here. See, Gaia's Cradle, right? Crop rotation. We have so many creatures, tap for a lot. Gemstone Caverns, just trying to go fast. Command Tower, you gotta run it. Best land commander. Phyrexian Tower, maybe a little underrated, but if I have the fodder, and I have the fodder, if you can sacrifice creatures, just ramping by 1. I'm trying to go super fast. Very important. We got 1 basic forest. We got the basic swamp, and then a basic snow-covered forest. I think forests are more important than having white. More green than a little bit of black, then even less white. But I don't run any plains. Besage, classic card. Pay 2 to channel it to destroy whatever you need. Uncounterable type things. Very good. Mana Confluence. And then Fetid Heath. I like running this filter land because just getting that double white as long as I have a black, because I run so few white is mainly the reason why I run that. But that is, yeah, the deck. Very, very cEDH. This is what I would bring to the table. I have a couple other cEDH decks too, but I think I would bring Ghave because he's my number one boy. Always been there for me since my first commander ever. Just has a special place. And I have Young Wolf. If you haven't noticed, there's doodling of little fungus around Young Wolf. That was by Ryan Prescott. Saw him at MagicCon. Had him doodle, told him about Ghave, had a good conversation with them, and he put little poison fungus on it. Just love it. We'll go off to the tier lists and see where Ghave lies within the ecosystem, and I'll see you guys there. All right, we're here on my favorites tier list, or much more fun to me, how I like playing them. I get excited to play these decks. We had Bruna and Jalira. I always love playing them. And Gashath was kind of more linear. Ghave has always been there. I would say S tier, but it's like I can't really play cEDH without like being in a cEDH pod, so I hate just like pub stomping. So I'm going to put him in A tier. I would love to play him all the time, but I feel like it's just a little bit too powerful in certain decks, and I just don't get to play him. Only if it's in the right situation, then I would like to play Ghave. And so that's the fun one. We'll move on to what I consider is the most competitive. All right, onto the competitive tier list. If you couldn't have guessed already, Gabe's going to be S tier. This is my cEDH deck for sure. He wins lots of games, and one I mostly like. I can pilot well. The one I played probably the most games back in the day. Maybe I don't play him as much anymore, just because he might be collecting some dust, but. Yeah, he's the one I would want to bring for sure to a cEDH tournament. And yeah, so that's the Ghave deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Maybe I don't know if you're cEDH people, but this is one of the few decks. Come check out my other videos of my commander decks if you are interested. The deck list is in the description. Should have been saying this before, but thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video of checking out the cards. I'll have, we have 16 more commander decks to do out of all 20 of them, so make sure to check those out, and I'll see you around here on MTG Place. Peace.